Hello, friends. This is Dave Horowitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Scarlatti recordings. Well, what are we going to do with Scarlatti, right? 555 sonatas. Yes, he wrote cantatas. He wrote some other things. And some of you may want to toss one of those things in there. But they haven't, in my view, gotten a sufficient number of recordings, enough attention for us to decide what the truly great ones are. We just don't know the repertoire that well. I mean, some of you might, but, well, I doubt it. And the sonatas, on the other hand, oh my, lots of people do them. They do selections. No two are identical. Well, they can be played on the piano, they can be played on the harpsichord, sometimes they're played on the accordion, sometimes on the trombone, but I'm sticking with harpsichord and piano. I do not believe that any of the other transcription things, guitar, whatnot, I mean, if you want to do that, knock yourself out, but I really strongly doubt that any of those curiosities can be listed as among the 5 greatest Scarlatti recordings. They may be good for other reasons. Anyway, here is the list of 5. First, and they're all sonatas. Let's just be clear and not worry about it. Horowitz on Sony. They're like live Horowitz Scarlatti sonatas too, because he dribbled them around his career as encores and things like that. But, oh, wow, was he a terrific Scarlatti player. He just reveled in their virtuosity and their quirkiness and played the living daylights out of them. They're marvelous performances. And if you don't know Horowitz doing Scarlatti, then you don't know Scarlatti. He also, I think, really legitimized performing these pieces on the piano. I mean, on the piano in a way which leaves nothing to be desired, because, Scarlatti's keyboard music was really conceived for the harpsichord. He had that sec touch in mind, that clarity, that wonderful thing that you can only get from a harpsichord playing at full tilt with lots of notes, fistfuls of notes flying around. Horowitz managed to duplicate all of that on the piano. He really did, without minimizing anything pianistic. It was just a completely comfortable reimagining of the sonority of these pieces in a way that Scarlatti could never have dreamed of, but that works extremely well. And all the great pianists who play Scarlatti have to do something similar. They really do. Next, more sonatas. Well, the complete box with Scott Ross. What are you going to do? It's one of the greatest sets of anything anybody ever attempted. And he uses multiple instruments, and they are astoundingly fine performances. Soup to nuts. They're just great. You can't play tons of them at a sitting, I don't think. I tried that once. I was driving from Connecticut back to New York and back and forth, and I had the box sets, separate box sets that you can get from, downloads, so it's like, 50 sonatas at a throw, or 20 or 30 or something like that. And by the time I got to New York, I was so frazzled, I was like ready to have a nervous breakdown. It's a wonder I didn't have a car accident, because all of that relentless virtuosity and just abundant athletic joy of most of these pieces. Every so often a slow one would come along and you just go, oh, thank God. Usually on the Hutchinson River Parkway. But take them in clumps, reasonable clumps, and if it begins to drive you insane, stop. You need a break. It really can get to be overwhelming. It's an amazing body of work. My God. Next, Pletnev on piano again. Well, on Warner, those 2 discs on Virgin Classics, which is what they were on when they first came out, I think established Pletnev's career practically. They were just amazing. And he was another one who loved music that was a little quirky and eccentric, and he could bring his own weirdness to bear in performing these things with, miracles of touch and articulation and all the kinds of things that make that music so much fun to listen to. It really was, and really is. Back to the harpsichord, Růžičková. the fabulous Czech harpsichordist. Now, she did a few Scarlatti recitals. There's one on Superfon, but the best one is the one on Orfeo that she did with her modern mega harpsichord. You know, it had 400 different stops, and it could sound at times like some sort of Moog or synthesized thing, or oh my goodness, it was just crazy. Absolutely crazy variety of timbre, and her playing was always imaginative and brilliant, and it's magnificently recorded. It's just a stunning recital. I play it all the time. It's one of the ones that gives me the most pleasure of all the Scarlatti sonata recordings because of the instrument, which is totally ahistorical and all that. I couldn't care less. It just makes the music sound constantly interesting, full of variety. It's just marvelous. So there's that. And then finally, last but not least, not too many sonatas, but oh my, how musically intense they are. Clara Haskil on Westminster. Another one of those genius recordings that she somehow managed to do. She was some artist, an amazing artist. And although her repertoire that we have was limited, she never made a bad record, I don't think. There's some Mozart concerto recordings that are not as good because the accompaniments were lousy and whatnot, but she was always pretty amazing. And her Scarlatti is just from the inside out. She just penetrates to the core of each of these little gems and plays them as if she was composing them on the spot. It's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And so there you have it. The 5 greatest Scarlatti recordings. Let's see your list. And keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.